Mr. Azim Premji. Have you heard of Azim Premji? He is the chairman of Wipro and he is a great role model for many of us. And he said, would you like to see tomorrow morning your photograph in the newspaper? Okay. And under that, something you don't want to read about or you don't want to see your photograph associated. That when that particular person was caught stealing, he was caught doing defalcation, was caught for rash driving. Okay. Would you like it? Nobody. Nobody would like to see them associated with any wrongdoing. So much so, the higher you go, the bigger the person that you could be as part of your inheritance, even a very minor demeanor costs that family a hell of a lot. I mean, I'm just saying this as an example, but I just want you to understand the examples. The ex-president of USA's daughter was caught for, some traffic offense. Okay. Now that is flashed all over because the president's daughter doing a traffic offense, not acceptable because he is ultimate in the law, the president of USA. Okay. So that being the case, each one of you who come with a unique, gene print, you want to leave a unique gene print as you progress. And whatever I am going to share subsequently is all related to that. Okay. So what I want to say is that as far as all of you are concerned, you have stepped into the world of management education. You all have some kind of a background. I'm sure you have a BA, BSc or a BTech or whatever degree. And now you have stepped into the management world in terms of trying to learn the ropes of management and get a job and obviously, go forward. Having done that, this is very, very important to understand that what is the basis on which you're going to build your career. When you build your career, what are those ingredients that you want to put it together? That becomes very, very important. You'll all go through a lot of subjects in relation to management education. Could be, management theory, it could be practices, okay, organizational behavior, HR practices. I don't even know what subjects you're taught. But when you go through all this, you get a whiff of what all could be useful to you when you take up a job. But as you go through, you'll understand that what you learned and what you're actually doing could be related, could be unrelated. Okay, because you got a job where you don't relate to what they do. For the simple reason that if a person wants to be a space scientist, okay, but willy-nilly, unfortunately, he becomes a station master. What happens to his dream? He's a station master. What is his job in that railway station? To make sure the trains run, the station is kept clean, the ticketing is done properly. Okay? But what is his dream? He wants to be a space scientist. See, there is such a dichotomy between a dream and the job that you do. Now, is there a way one can actually realize one's dreams? Does management education give you the opportunity to follow your dreams? These are all things that you need to think about. You can think about it all the time, and then there is a way one needs to build on this. Okay, and in that, what I wanted to say was that there are steps that we all follow, and if you follow the steps, it's quite easy. It's possible to actually do it. It is like what J.R.D. Tata said long ago. When you look at a pole star, the pole star is right up in the heavens skies. Okay, can you reach the pole star? You can't. No way you can reach the pole star. But looking at the pole star, you can take a direction. Because the pole star tells you what is the direction we ought to move. Okay, that is the role of a pole star. That's what we see in the heavens. Now, similar kind of a thing can be done when you actually pursue your career, pursue your job. Okay, and there are, of course, in doing all this, let me tell you, there are no shortcuts. There are no shortcuts to growth. There are no shortcuts to success. Everything must be done systematically, and the more ambitious you are, the harder it will be for you to make sure that you stick to what you want to do. So there is a famous story in philosophy which said there is a madman who would do every day morning, will take a stone, big stone, he will push it right till the top of the little hillock. Okay, he'll go to the top. By afternoon, he will reach the top. After he reaches the top, he will let that stone roll down. As it rolls down, he'll clap and he will laugh and dance and whatever. And people said, "Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this kind of thing every day?" He said, "This is what I want you to know, that you can work, go up to the top and learn and go to the top. But one minor slip, you're likely to come down." So you might think it's a philosophical story, but you heard of the Satyam background? How many people know about Satyam? What do you know about Satyam? Say that again. PwC you said, and fraud case happened. What exactly? Do you know exactly what happened? You heard about it, right? Anybody else who knows slightly better? Okay, anyway, obviously you're all young students and you don't get to see, and it's almost about 5 years now that it's an old story. People have forgotten completely. The owner of Satyam was a person, I do not know for what reason, one fine day, he admitted that he has created a fraud on the company. What is the fraud he created on the company? He showed assets which did not exist. He showed bank deposits which did not exist. Okay? He showed less liabilities compared to what the books had. He had lied and committed huge frauds on the shareholders. For whatever reason, he came and admitted, then the entire Satyam empire collapsed. Okay? It's another matter that we in this country don't let anyone collapse on their own. So the government took it over and looked at it, and then finally they sold that company to Mahindra, and it now become Mahindra Satyam. The top of that company created a huge fraud for everybody. Now he is in the jail. He has had so many problems. This is exactly what I said about a little while ago about, you can work very hard, go to the top, and you can slip down in no way. So one of the things that we always say is, in this country particularly, of course everywhere else, we want to stand for truth. Okay, we want to stand for truth. And I want to spend a couple of minutes and explain to you what is truth. We always say what is truth is what I see with my eyes, what I hear from my ears, and I combine that together. Okay? Nature has given us several faculties. Two faculties have to go together to establish there is truth. So, we all want to get the truth of anything. Okay? And the truth of anything is what you understand and learn. Okay? So, that being the case, we have to understand the truth of the phenomena in the world, including what is fraud. We must understand what is fraud. Okay? So that being the case, in Satyam's case, it was a huge fraud primarily for the shareholders, okay, because he wanted to divert the funds from basically IT to issues like building infrastructure in Hyderabad, okay, and he wanted to create assets out of fictitious funds, okay, and then make up with the money, okay. Now, that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen, okay. Nowhere it can happen. That's the reason we have laws, we have, regulations that you must follow. So it all starts from there. At the highest level in corporate history, you have people like this. Of course, every corporation is not like that. Let's accept the fact that there are corporates like Tatas, there are corporates like Birlas, okay, Mahindras, who are role models for all of us in the country, okay. And it is not as if the whole corporate world is full of such things. Don't think it's like this. I'm just giving an example. There are hundreds of corporates who run a very decent company. Many of them are not known to us. There are hundreds of companies. That being the case, what is it that you can do when you look at the corporate world? When you want to get a job, what is it that you can do? So that's the reason when you build your career, you must do everything on a systematic basis. Okay? And whatever values that you have imbibed from your parents, whatever you get here in this institute, okay, or the basis on which you can build your career. And there is no big rocket science about it. There is no big difficulty about it. The basic issue is that do we adhere to those framework and work hard for it. Nothing in the world comes without working hard, let me tell you. No scripture, nothing teaches you to work hard. But you will get things only when you actually work hard for what you want to get at. Okay? Across the board. You see, Tata's, everyone works very hard. Everyone works hard. There is no question whether it is Ratan Tata or this is Cyrus Mistry. Okay? They all work hard. Okay? They earn the daily bread. Daily bread. It may be at a higher level. I mean, to the extent I have now recently studied our Prime Minister Modi. He works very hard. I mean, there are no questions about it. Our Prime Minister works hard. The same as President Obama. He earns his daily bread for the country. At what level, what kind of value is something that we can look at it and study, imbibe, and do things like that. The point is, when you step into your career as young students and then get a job, okay, what is the basis on which you're going to get a job? You're going to get a job because how well you studied the subjects that you have been taught, okay, how well you are informed about various matters, and how well you come out as a person in your behavior, okay. And one of the most important things all of us must understand is interpersonal relationships. If you want to succeed in life, it's very, very important for you to focus on interpersonal relationships. Okay. So, and as budding managers, that is going to make a big difference to whatever you do. Because as you grow in your functions, you enter a company when you are about 22, 23 or whatever as a management graduate, okay, and you progress through, then you become some sectional head maybe when you're 30, then you get into another function, okay, you have learned and you become, a divisional manager, a general manager. By the time you're 40, you come to a stage where whatever you have done till that time is something that has gone into your system. After the age of 40, your learning is going to be very different. You're going to meet with a lot of people who are similar in age, who also have come to that position for whatever reason. Okay? And their method of learning will be very different. Your method of learning will be different. So at that point, you really have to understand how your peer groups have worked for the success, learn and understand and assimilate. Because after 40, whatever you do does not get into your system. After 40, whatever you have done, I mean, like I can tell you that when I was 27 or 28, there was a serious crisis in the company where I was working. The managing director of the company was called by the defense ministry saying that we'll cancel all your licenses in India because you have supplied equipment which is not working. Okay. And we will send you out of this country. Okay. That particular job, although I was a very junior person, fell on my shoulders. Okay. A lot of equipment supplied was not commissioned. So I went to a couple of these factories where the equipment was. And when I looked at the equipment, it was mind-boggling simply because I had no exposure or training of any kind in looking at the equipment. And subsequently, I learned it the real hard way of looking at the equipment. And I told my wife, I was just married, told my wife, if I don't succeed, I'll resign. She said, why? If you don't succeed, you don't even know what it is. When you don't succeed, why should you resign? I said, no, this is a challenge to me. Either I succeed or I quit. That was my outlook. Of course, another matter that I could manage to do everything, and all those equipment was commissioned, and that company came through, in the eyes of the government better, and then we moved on from there. So issue is that what I did at that particular point of time in looking at what it takes to build an equipment, run an equipment, commission the equipment and deliver stands my stead even today. I don't have to do that right now in my job, but I do get involved in looking at projects for energy efficiency, projects for water efficiency, okay? But I know what it takes to build one with reliability, what it takes to commission one with reliability, what we in corporate world call last mile delivery. When you take anything, you need the last mile delivery to be accurate. To give you a direct example, when you go to a mobile store and you want to charge your mobile, okay, how long does it take to give you a charge? 1 minute, 2 minutes, right? You go pay the money quickly, and all that has very quick impact on what they do. If you get from a company a quick charge for what you pay, you will obviously go to that company again and again. But prior to that stage, the company has to establish a huge backup before it gets there. All of you have seen the famous Maruti ad where somebody went to Ladakh and he was stuck with his car and he was told, no, don't worry, Maruti, there is a car care close by. You can drive down and get it, okay? If there is a breakdown, there is a way to attend to it, okay? This is what is called last mile delivery. This last mile delivery in most of the places is very, very important because we as consumers, we as, as people who take goods and services, we are looking for efficiency in last mile delivery. And there in this country, we have a very long way to go, particularly in public service. We have to go a long way to public service, okay? And that's an area of huge opportunity for all of you to build networks which will service the delivery. So come back to what I was saying is, in building your career, you would be looking at the kind of thing which will take you one step at a time, okay, in building your skills. Because all of you come with certain basic degree, a certain amount of personality from your family, but then obviously when you get into a job, you have to improve so many little faculties which are important. Including the fact that supposing you are from, Karnataka and you come to Delhi, do you think you can carry on with Kannada? No way. You have to speak the local language if you want to get anything done, okay? Simply because that's the best way to communicate. Language makes a big communication. I mean, like for instance, I'll tell you, language is a great binder. Okay? Language is a great binder. I was standing in a railway station in Hamburg some years ago, okay, in Germany, and I heard a voice from behind, आप भारत के वासी है क्या? मैंने बोला कौन है भैया? पीछे से मुझे पुकार रहा है, बोलता भारत के वासी है क्या? I turned. It turned out to be somebody from Varanasi. And he was so happy to talk to me in Hindi. Okay. Hindi is of course our Rashtra Bhasha and I learnt it. My mother tongue is Tamil. But I learned Hindi because it's our Rashtra Bhasha. Yeah, no problem. But that fellow was so happy to talk to me. For the next 3 hours we stood on the corridors of the train as you're traveling and we spoke in Hindi. Okay. That makes a big impact on communication. You follow? So when you get into your job and you get a posting in Tamil Nadu and you don't know Tamil, obviously there is a barrier. Okay. The moment you have a barrier, then you have to cross the barrier to get somewhere. Supposing you have to go to Tamil Nadu and tell him in his own language, bhai chai do, fatafat ho jayega. But the moment you ask him in Hindi, okay, then he thinks that you're an alien. Okay. So it takes you its own time. So as you build your career with skills, you grow bigger. It's very important to know what is going to take you to the next step. In career building, very, very important. I've been telling Mr. Bansal, I'll be happy to run a career program, career planning program, okay, right here in NDIM. It's not actually happened. Okay. There is a very structured program one can run in career planning. And it's a self-analytical tool to tell you from where to take to the next step. So my own suggestion to all of you is, apart from having come with a certain set of values and you have studied what you have studied here in NDIM, please go with a 3-year plan. Any Gujarati who does business in the country, he calls it, rather Gujaratis here? Okay. You're a native of Gujarat or you live in Delhi? Okay, great. Any Gujarati always says Hajarno Divas. Hajarno Divas means 3 years. What they do is, they try any business for 3 years. At the end of the 3 years, they know where they've gone right, where they've not gone right. They change it, okay? So career building is something very similar. So think of a 3-year stint in which you can plan to improve your skills. And one of the most important skills is communication and people management. Okay, I'm not saying that you take a course in HR and whatever. Each one of you, in his own way, you'll be involved with that. But it's very, very important to focus, apart from the functional skills you may have in marketing or design or operations or services in any company. Okay, if you focus on communication, if you focus on interpersonal skills, managerial skills, you'll go very much forward in what you want to do. So please do think of a 3-year stint in which you work. Okay. The top level jobs are always very few, but you can build and build and build in such a way that when you come to the age of 45, you can aspire to be a CEO of a company, provided you have learned through all the skills, not otherwise. Okay. There you need to know a lot more. So come back to one issue on which Madam wanted me to talk to you today, is this issue of corporate social responsibility, CSR. Okay. All of you have a module on corporate social responsibility, which is a subject which is going to be taught to you. Okay. Does anyone understand what is corporate social responsibility? You said several things, but essentially what you said is correct. Corporates must give back to society what they got. They made the profits for the society, they must give it back. You also said that they must make the profits ethically. You follow? It's all a good definition, good understanding, no problem at all. But what is ethics itself is a very big question. Okay. Pardon me? It is not a gray area, let me tell you. It is not a gray area. I mean, if it's a gray area, then none of us would be working. Many of us would be will be floundering. It's not that, okay? I mean, if you have great corporation, they all have good ethics. There's no issue. I mean, the world over, let me tell you, the world over, there is a lot of corporates have a very good ethical framework. It's not an issue at all. But what I want to say is that much before even the recent CSR part of the Companies Act 2013 came into force, okay, which is there, that is being notified, corporate social responsibility has been part of any company for a long time. It's nothing very new, okay. Like, for instance, my own company, we established a factory in 1958 in Pune. And the land in which we built was all owned by farmers. So we bought the land from the farmers. So when we bought the land from the farmers, our chairman asked those farmers, now that you sold your land, you don't have a job. You don't have a job. You got money. What will you do? Many of them said, we will marry off our daughters. Because we know marrying a daughter costs money. So these guys have money, so they said, we'll marry off our daughter. So chairman said, okay, if you have married your daughters, what next? They said, I don't know what to do. Then we started training them in manufacturing jobs in the same factory. Today we have the third or fourth generation, working in the factory who are all originally farmers in the same area. Okay. So this was our method of, giving back to those people what we wanted, some part of it, corporate social responsibility. And let me tell you, corporate social responsibility does not mean only dishing out money. It's not just a matter of dishing out money. I give some donation to school, I give a donation to a temple. Okay, like very often what we do is, I've done some great mistake. I go and break a coconut in front of Ganpati and that's it. I'm free from that's not a way. Okay? That is the reason why this corporate social responsibility has to be thought over very carefully. Okay. Now, each of these corporates who have been involved with this area have been doing it on their own for a very long time. It is not as if that, the act came and suddenly people became aware of corporate social responsibility.